Growing up, my father loved Chinese food. And I don't know how he was able to afford a family of five eating Chinese food as much as we did, but it's not in my budget. So I'm going to go ahead and make a Chinese food dinner because I love the stuff. And it's the only way I can really get my kids to eat all their veggies and then some. So we're just cleaning off our veggies real quick. Green onions. You're going to use all of it, but not in the same dish. You're going to have some carrot. I buy them the big ones, the bulk. I don't buy the small ones. Um, Usually in any Asian food store, they'll give you like these big, giant, humongous carrots. Buy those. Those are a lifesend, especially when you're making soups and stuff and you want diced carrots and such like that. The small cellophane carrots you get, just they're too small. Alrighty, here we go. When you're cutting your veggies for Chinese food, always cut them on a bias. Um, because they use a lot of bite-sized pieces, but they also cook more evenly. It increases the surface area, so it cooks faster and more evenly. Here, I've already cut them on a bias. Now I'm just gonna chop them in long ways, and then I'm gonna turn them around, and then I'm gonna chop them short ways. And that leaves us with some nice diced carrots. Oops, here we go. Yeah, it's not working. There we go. Nice diced carrots. This is going to be not only for our stir fry, but these are going to be for our egg rolls as well. Um, Cut them all at once and then just separate them how you want to separate them. Alrighty? Again, here we go. You've cut them on the bias. Now you're going to slice them and you're going to turn them and chop them. See how easy? Easy peasy, short and squeezy. There we go. Choop, 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 choop. Now we're going to chop our green onions. You need your white part. Haha, you fell. You need your white parts for the cooking, and the green, the scapes, those are for, garnishment. Okay, I guess you could cook them if you want to, but it takes away from that. So chop your onions, and then my son came in. He's, anyway, again, on a bias. I think I have to feed him. I fed one. Now I gotta feed the other. All right. And we're gonna chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. Now, you can do this several different types of ways because I'm doing it for my family and I know what they already like and I know how they like it. So I'm just gonna save myself some time and I'm just gonna stir fry all of that together at the same time. Normally, you want to do your carrots, then your celery, and then your onion going in last. I'm just gonna toss them all in at the same time because I am lazy right now. But normally, that's how I do it. Always slice your your cucumbers. What the hey? Your celery in half, slice it in half, just so you don't end up with these like big hunking chunks of celery um, in your rice. Okay, there we go. Ideally, you want to use Chinese celery. It has a bigger punch of celery, and you don't need as much. But I like having that celery in there because I like having the extra crispiness that it provides. It gives me a texture that um, it's a nice, warm, but crispy celery. So, putting all that in there. Yep. See? Easy peasy. And then I'm pretty sure one of these celery sticks is going to make it into my mouth before anything else. Yep. There we go. I love celery. I love celery any time of the day. There are times where I'll just go get celery in the morning. That was me reminding you to make sure you cut it on a bias. Um, it increases the surface area, and then you're stir frying it, and it just takes minutes to come together, as opposed to the typical chunks that we as Americans do. Okay? Now we're going to get some eggs going. Now I put enough oil in the eggs and in the wok so that the eggs can get really fluffy, but also I can have enough oil when I get ready to start incorporating the veggies and the rice. Okay? So don't worry, it looks like it's swimming in it right now, but it turns fluffy and delicious, and you'll see that magic in about 2, 3, go. Just like that. So there, didn't take any of that oil out. It's just nice and incorporated into the eggs. See how fluffy they are? Now we're going to start adding in our accoutrement. So those are the veggies that we cooked. That was about 1 pork chop that I chopped up. We're going to dump our eggs in. Okay? Now, with this, again, you want to keep stirring it. Okay? Don't let it sit because then it starts to steam. Keep stirring it. Keep that moisture content down. Here we are, the dark soy sauce. Dark soy sauce does not really provide salt, but it does provide color. And then you're going to use your light soy sauce, which is the salty soy sauce that you know, and you're going to salt that up, okay? But for that umami, go ahead and get you some oyster sauce. Oyster sauce, dark soy sauce, and soy sauce. And that is all you need for your fried rice, okay? Trust me, you will love it. It's approved. And we're going to go ahead and transfer it. And I just put it in my Pyrex. And that is what that looks like. Now we're going to start working on our egg rolls. And though it looks like I'm doing one thing at a time, I was actually doing several things. I'm just showing you the prep so this was actually happening at the beginning because I had to blanch the veggies that I'm about to use here. What is that called? That's called cabbage. I had to blanch that along with the carrots and the celery that I'm using for that. Now, if you see, I'm putting the scraps in that bowl. I am going to freeze all of those scraps. And every time I have scraps, I'm going to put more scraps in that bag or, bucket that I'm freezing. And then I'm going to make a veggie broth when I have all the scraps that I need. Okay? Onion peels, garlic, bulbs, and, whatever. You name it, it's going in there. Turnips, parsnips. It makes such a delicious vegetable broth. And if I've already bought it and I'm not using it, I might as well find a purpose for it. Okay? Here we go again with the celery. That carrot. I can't get my veggies right. We're going to go ahead and chop that again on the bias. Make sure you're getting it on the bias, okay? And we're going to do the same thing we did for the rice. We're just going to cut it on a bias, and then we're going to chop it, and then we're going to chop it again, okay? You'll see. It's a satisfying endeavor. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. This is my favorite part of any meal is the prep and all the meticulous stuff that I have to do on the most part. Here we go. That's that turn I was telling you about. So we're going to turn that again. And we're just going to do that for the rest of them. Now, I know normally I show myself, but dudes, let me tell you. I was just cooking for my family. I didn't feel like putting any makeup on. I have no makeup on. My hair is like all up on top of my head. Yeah, I just wanted to get dinner done and over with. Okay, there we go. Chopping, chopping, chopping. All right, getting that celery done. Now, I know you haven't seen me wash those. That's because I just chop everything and then I wash everything at the same time. Just saves me time for this one. Okay, so I'm doing about 3 stalks of celery. And then I chop that a little bit finer because this is going for the egg roll. Okay. There we go. I'm wondering if one of these celeries is going to find its way into my mouth again. I don't know. Let's see. Nope. Didn't make it. Didn't make it. All right. See, there's that wash. All right. Instead of putting it in like a Dutch oven, I'm just going to put it in my steamer. That way, when I get ready to pull it out, I can just dump it into my mesh bag and start wringing it out. This here is the secret. Get you some wood ear mushrooms, okay? Dried wood ear mushrooms. Take as many. I have to call it black cabbage for my family because they swear up and down they don't eat mushrooms, but that's what goes in the egg rolls. And so we have some wood ear mushrooms that we're going to reconstitute. And I'm going to pour some boiling water over it. And I'm just going to let it sit and do its thing. Okay? You don't have to fill the cup up. You just got to get enough in there so that you can rehydrate them. And that way you can chop them. Okay? Put that aside. These are potato starch noodles. Okay? You cannot break them like you can spaghetti. Trust me, I have tried over and over. Coffee break. You can't. So you have to soak them in hot water. And then once they're done soaking, you're going to chop them. Okay? They don't have to be perfect, because it's going to stick anyway. But my family loves potato starch noodles in their egg rolls, okay? Now I'm just mixing it. I don't know why I'm showing that. But I do want to tell you. So you're going to have white pepper, MSG, optional, I like it, and salt, okay? You're also going to use Chinese 5-spice and light soy sauce. Again, the light soy sauce is the salty one. And you're just going to fill your egg rolls, okay? Sometimes I have to use 2 wrappers because it might be broken or it didn't seal correctly. But for the most part, 1 wrapper, okay? And I'm just going to show you how we do this a couple times, and then we're going to move on to the next wonderful aspect of this video, okay? Now, ooh, look at that face. That's a mean mug. I have a resting bitch face. Oh, that was awful. But see what I mean when I said I didn't have any makeup on? I wasn't even trying. But that resting face was awful. I might have to cut that out. That pursed lip. Oh, by the way, normally I don't make my rice in the Instapot, but because when I'm making fried rice, I use less water in the actual cooking of the rice, and I find that just using less water, I get consistent results with the Instapot as opposed to just doing it on my stove, steaming it like I normally do. So that is one of the few times, or if I'm making Mexican rice, that's one of the few times I'll pull my Instapot out for rice. Otherwise, that's just not what it's used for. Okay, so fill in some more egg roll wrappers. I don't like spring rolls per se. They're too crispy for me. I like the texture that the egg rolls give, okay? And oh, also when you're filling them, the flour side goes down, Okay, remember that. The floured side of your egg roll wrapper goes down. Usually you'll be able to tell because if you rub your hands across the top of it, it'll give you a nice coating of cornstarch. Okay, turn it upside down if it does that. Okay, there you go. And pull it back, and it's almost like a burrito. Yeah, itty bitty baby burrito. Okay, we're just gonna do maybe one more. Maybe not. All right, now we're getting to the frying part. Secret, secret. Fry it once, let it rest. Okay, so you fry it once for about 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes, maybe 4. And then you come back and then you do the second fry. Okay, the first fry locks in all the moistures and everything else like that. The second fry allows for it to crisp up. Okay? Promise me you'll do the two. Do it with your fried chicken too. Okay? Double fry. First to seal in the moisture. The second fry is always for color, texture. I was not feeling ambitious enough to make my own wontons today, so I didn't. And here we go. 2 pork chops. Yeah, those didn't quite come out great. 2 pork chops made all these egg rolls and all of that fried rice. And trust me, there is no shortage of flavor. Yum, yum, yum. Yep, it's approved. What do we think? Baby approved? Alright.
And it's really hard to gain MMR once you get that high. And then they just reset it, and everyone at the top basically had the same MMR. It was all around 30.